Hey everybody, so today I'm here to give you guys another video in the exclusively pumping series here on my channel. Please excuse these postpartum baby hairs. I cannot get them to lay down for the life of me. But today we are going to be talking about pumping with a toddler and a baby. A video that I thought I made, but I guess I never did. I was actually telling people that I already made it, and I was like, yeah, it's in my playlist. No, it's not. And that's exactly what having a toddler and a baby will do to your brain. So just be aware. But for those of you who are on this video because you're expecting or you've already had your baby, congratulations. And for those of you who may be new to my channel or my videos, be sure to check out all my other EP videos. If you're trying to look for some kind of information that I'm not talking about in this video, I will have my playlist linked for you guys to check out. I have been making EP videos for a long time now. I have several. I've covered a ton of different topics. But if you don't see it on the playlist, definitely leave a comment down below. I will try my best to get to that video. But let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So the first thing that I wanted to tell you is to just kind of erase all expectations. I don't know that I ever sat down and I really thought about what it was going to be like exclusively pumping with Sophie and a baby, because I did know beforehand that this is what I wanted to do with Remy. I knew I eventually wanted to exclusively pump. I wanted to transition pretty early after she had been born, so I knew that it was going to be coming, but I don't know that I ever sat down and thought to myself, well, I'm gonna have 2 kids around. So, you know, that's a little bit different, a lot different than having just 1 kid to exclusively pump for. But I do feel like I just kind of had this mentality of this is how things will go. So when they didn't go that way, I found myself heavily frustrated and kind of confused and irritated, and I don't really know how else to describe it, but it was just very frustrating. Especially because when you are sitting down to pump, you're not doing something for yourself, you're not doing something that's going to really benefit you. You're pumping to supply food for your baby, you know, to help your baby live and grow and thrive. So, you know, it's kind of frustrating that you're already not doing something that you're really, you know, getting anything out of yourself, but it's just something that you're trying to do for your child, and then your children are kind of like driving you crazy. They're getting into things, they need something for you the second they sit down, so it's hard not to get frustrated. But I found that once I kind of accepted that the minute I sit down is the minute someone's gonna need my attention, and just kind of having a more go with the flow attitude and not really holding myself or my kids to some kind of certain standard or idea of how it should happen, things started going a lot smoother. That kind of sounds like a no-brainer kind of thing, but honestly, it took me a while to figure out. No shame in saying that. But while you have that go with the flow attitude, definitely set firm boundaries. I found that Sophie saw me sitting here and the fact that I couldn't get up unless it was really important that I did, as kind of her way of using that time to see what she could get away with. They are definitely going to test you and figure out what buttons to push and see what they can get away with, because they're toddlers and that's just what they like to do in general. But definitely when something becomes part of their routine as well, because it is very much going to be a part of their lives, and it's always going to be something that, oh well, mommy's sitting down to do this just like she always does. So for them, it's a new part of their day, and they're definitely going to test it out and feel the waters. She was just like using her crayons where she shouldn't have been, just small little things like that. So I found that setting those boundaries with her and letting her know that I'm still watching you, I'm still paying attention, and I can still see everything you're doing, I'm just also doing something. She eventually quit trying to test the waters. Helping yourself out before you get started pumping is huge. Fill up your diaper caddy with snacks, make sure sippy cups are full, make sure you have a bottle on hand for baby, a pacifier, diapers are changed, the movie's ready to go, you're ready to go, baby gates are locked, like everything is cool, so that if something does come up, something needs done, it's not 10 million things, maybe it's just only 1 or 2. I found that that really helped me, especially the things with Remy. Sophie was really at an age where I could tell her, okay, hold on just a minute, while I was trying to kind of get myself cleaned up so I didn't have to just stop immediately. But keeping a bottle close for Remy, keeping the pacifiers, stuff like that kind of close. Also keeping her swing right next to where I was pumping is huge for me, because that way I could just reach over, help her out, do whatever I needed to do, and everybody was happy. Kind of along with that, a hands-free bra. If you did not already have one with your first journey, definitely break down and buy one. I have also seen moms on Pinterest suggest a DIY one where you just kind of cut slits in a sports bra. Whatever works, girl. Just get yourself a hands-free bra. It is amazing, amazing, amazing. I felt like I couldn't get through my EP journey with Sophie without one, but definitely the second time around with having 2 kids, it is just a necessity. As far as those go, I really do like the Simple Wishes bras for moms all the way up until about double D, triple D area. Past that, I highly recommend the pump strap or Bravado clip and pump. Having your pump session not accessible to your toddler was something that took me a little while to learn. For the longest time, we didn't have an end table right next to the couch here, and this is where I pump because there's an outlet literally right down the wall. So this is basically the only place I really can pump. So I had just my pump sitting on the couch here, and I would just keep a bag, my pump bag, down on the floor, and I would keep everything in it. But the fact that Sophie could come over, she could mess with the cord, she could unplug my pump, she could mess with the stuff that was still in the bag, it just frustrated everybody. She was getting into things she shouldn't have. I had to stop pumping. She was actually messing with my pumping stuff. So it was just kind of a, you know, not a good situation. So once we got this end table, it's wide enough that she can't even reach over and grab my pump anymore. I mean, now she's 2.5 and she knows not to mess with mommy's pump stuff, so we really don't have that problem anymore. But just kind of keeping that stuff away from them and it's out of their reach definitely helps you out. Now when it comes to baby, having a swing, activity center, whatever it is for them, is a huge help while you're pumping. I mentioned this in my previous videos about pumping with a baby and an infant. I highly recommend that when they are little babies. I loved having the swing pulled up literally just right on the other side of this couch. It was super easy to just reach over and help her out with whatever she needed. And then as she got older, she could support herself, she could sit up, she wanted to play. That's when I broke out the activity center or the baby mat. Something to just contain them helps a lot. Now, I also liked it because it kept her away from her sister. Not so much the baby mat because that was on the floor, but especially when it came to the activity center and the swing, those were things that I could keep close to me. I could make sure that Sophie wasn't trying to mess with her too much. That definitely helped us out. And if I felt like my girls needed a little extra attention, a little extra love, I would get down on the floor, like literally right where my tripod is, and I would pull up the baby mat. And the one that we had, the baby mat activities, I can't even remember what it was called. I'm just gonna put it right here. It's a skip hop one, and I think it's like the something arch, I don't know. I literally just put it away just a couple months ago because we were still using it, but it's a very wide mat. It was big enough to have both kids on. I could sit towards the end of it. They could lay and play with the toys and stuff. The girls could play together, but I was also down on the floor with them and I could supervise and kind of be there as needed. So I highly recommend stuff like that. Now on to the toddler. I found what worked best for Sophie was different activities. Obviously this is going to vary from child to child. Sophie loves to color, she loves to jump on her trampoline, she loves to watch her movies and read books. So I kind of kept all that stuff reserved for when I needed to pump. Now the next thing really helped me out, and it is having a positive mind frame. I found myself sitting on the couch and I'd be like, okay, I gotta get this done, I gotta get this done, come on, get out, get out, get out. Like really getting frustrated with myself that I couldn't empty as fast as I needed to because I needed to be done because this kid needed that and that kid needed this, and there's just always something. So I was really just kind of stressed out and really on myself about how long I was taking to pump, and I realized that that's probably half the reason why I'm having such a hard time getting a letdown and relaxing, and the milk's not flowing as easily as it could because I'm sitting here and I'm stressed out about it. So I found when I just literally sat back on the couch, I chilled out, I realized that, you know, everybody's got what they need right now and everything's gonna be fine, and I stopped worrying about how long I was taking to pump. I started taking a lot less longer to actually pump. I think it also just kind of plays on people's attitudes. Like, the less mom is stressed out, I find the less my kids are stressed out. So I found that when I was not being worried so much about how long I was taking, I wasn't personally in a bad or tense mood. They weren't either. Making sure you have your other pump basics down is another huge help, whether it's flange size, making sure you're emptying, making sure that you're lubing the tunnels of your flange with coconut oil, you have the right pump, you're on the right setting, you're massaging, you're encouraging letdowns, all that good stuff. Like I said, you want more details, check out the other videos I have in my EP series, but just kind of meeting your basics, that helps a lot in general. Now, the biggest thing, if you have to stop and take breaks, whether it be for a diaper change, someone needs a sippy refill, whatever it is, just come back and finish your pump session when you can. It's not the end of the world to stop, put your stuff aside, get your kids whatever they need, wash your hands, come back and finish pumping. And there's also going to be days where you do that a lot. So don't beat yourself up. Try not to stress about it. Know that you're just going to come back to the session and you're going to empty and it's going to be fine. And if you're having a day where it's really crappy and it seemed like every session you were getting interrupted, you had to stop, you had to come back, just throw a power pump in at the end of the night and just try to do better the next day. Just do what you can when you can and try not to stress about it. Coming back and emptying is just key with that. But I found that I'm never going to have the ideal situation to sit down and pump. It's not going to happen. My kids aren't perfect. I'm not perfect. Things and stuff happen. But you will eventually find a routine with your family. You'll find what works. You'll find nap times, and this will be a good time, and you might have to push this a little bit longer or pull this thing back. You will find your footing with your own family, with your own schedule. It's going to take some time, but it's definitely going to be worth it. So just give yourself that grace and that time to find your footing, and just know that you have an entire community behind you. Which kind of leads me to my next point about support groups. This is huge. It's major. Whether you have a supportive significant other, family, whatever, I am 110% behind the fact that you can never have too much support. So reaching out, finding a forum, a Facebook group, whatever, to really be behind you, to talk to on those rough days, to let you know that you're not alone, that somebody else is going through that too. All that stuff is really, really important. I am part of quite a few EP groups. I will have a few listed down below for you guys. I have ones that are EP only, which means you cannot talk about nursing whatsoever. I have other ones that you can talk about nursing. I am personally an admin of a Facebook group called Breast Bottle and Beyond, BBB for short, and I will have that link down below as well. It's a great community. We are positive, supportive, uplifting. Tons of EPers, myself obviously, are all in that group. The last little piece of advice that I have for you guys is I definitely recommend an enclosed space for your kids while you are pumping. Me personally, my entire living room, what you're seeing me film in right now, it's a huge open space. Some of you might have seen this in my EP Day in the Lives. You guys kind of get a wider aspect of this room, but I have this enclosed. I have a baby gate right off of this couch. It cuts off the entire rest of the house, everything from the kitchen, the bedrooms, the bathroom. They cannot reach, so they are stuck in this room with me. I have my couches now separated so they can run the entire length of the room, they can play, but I can literally see everything going on in this room. Nobody is out of eye shot. I am always kind of within a couple steps of the kids. It's just really nice to have this nice little area that I know that nothing's gonna hurt them. They're not getting into things that they shouldn't. I can keep an eye on them, and it's just so much more relieving than when we were in our old house, and it was just really hard to keep Sophie contained because we did not have a kind of gated section of the house where I could pump at. I wanted to let you know that, you know, having two small kids while exclusively pumping, it's kind of scary. There's a lot of things that go into it. You know, there's a lot of different things to think about, and there's always going to be someone who needs something. There's a lot more stress with multiple kids, I feel like, in our personal experience. With being a mom of two at home, I feel like a lot of the times I'm hard on myself. I feel like I don't have enough time or energy or attention or everything to go around, and It's really, really hard some days, but I really just try to push through. I do what I can when I can. Just don't be too hard on yourself. I just kind of wanted to leave you with that because I feel like there's a lot of pressure these days. So just do your best by your kids and know that you're doing a great job. And I just want to say again, congratulations to those of you who have just had your babies or you're expecting more babies. Yay, so exciting. But yeah, I think that is about everything. It is getting ready to thunderstorm, as you can tell from the lighting, so sorry about that, guys. But if you guys have any tips for those moms who are expecting or already have multiple kids and are exclusively pumping, please leave it down below so those mamas can get that as well. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks for watching.